So today I'm going to talk about 10 things that I do on almost all of my renders to just give it a little bit more photorealism.
Photorealism, like most 3D artists,
Is photorealism.
Photorealism remains relevant. So we're going to be discussing this.
Warning, the following video is for serious artists only. Exciting, mysterious, intense, provocative, raw, euphoric, technically and visually stunning. This is no ordinary render. This is the exotic, bizarre, and beautiful world of NPR. And this is your invitation to enter with one-click stylize. Critics say OCS makes photorealism look stupid. It's awe-inspiring. The future of rendering. One-click stylize is yours for free when you finish this video. With this state-of-the-art pipeline, you will enter a world beyond imagination, a future out of and an experience you will never forget.
Alright, I think that's enough melodrama for the day. Basically, I got bored of photorealism and I decided to dip my toes into non-photorealistic rendering, which, oh boy, was a deep rabbit hole. Today I want to show off this workflow around this hidden gem of a software I found called Fotosketcher that I haven't heard many people talk about, despite it being really powerful and giving out such a painterly and artistic result with such minimal effort, mind you. And it's free. This workflow is so powerful that last year I entered a render challenge, and just based on the style of my render, I ended up bagging 7th place. And here's what the judges had to say about it.
So we're going to move on to 7th place, which I believe from a person called Radium, and they named the image final.png. Thank you very much. I really like this one. I think this is probably one of my favorites, and I don't know if it's just the style or the colors or this, what did it, painterly look?
Candidly, I didn't like it at all at first.
Okay.
But it's one of those that the more I look at it, the more I love it.
Yeah.
And the closer you look, the more you notice the painterly aspect, the rendering style on, whether it's canvas and brush strokes. It has, I would say that this one has more style to it than any of the other renders.
And there's just so many little things, like you said, the art style really unified all of the different elements, like that painterly tonal contrast. It just works so well with this art style. I think it's great. I'm really interested in what your post-processing workflow actually is to get this kind of thing out.
There are parts where I'm like, is this paint effect post-processing? Because the texture is
under the
larger.
ivy.
The texture's larger, closer, but if you look at the back, you don't see the texture. So is it like part of the shader? Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites.
I think it's part of the texture.
And when you have Arendelle guessing what your post-processing workflow is like, you know you're struck gold. Cool, right? Now let's learn to make this. Step 1. This is probably going to be the hardest step out of all of them, and that is making a scene in Blender and then rendering it, of course. Step 2. Color grade your render. This is an important step. From me experimenting with this pipeline, I have found that Fotosketcher tends to mess up the colors of your render, and then changing the colors later on down the line becomes nearly impossible and gives a messy result. So you want to dial in the colors right now and set the vibe of the scene before putting it through Fotosketcher. Step 3. Start up Fotosketcher. Now I know the UI looks like it comes from the 60s, but bear with me here for a second. Load up your render with this blue icon. You are presented with this dialog box. Now it all comes down to selecting your style and shifting sliders around to get the look you want. It's crazy how easy it is to get a good looking result with such minimal effort. Step 4. Advanced tips and tricks. While messing around with Fotosketcher, you might come across this custom brushes option which certain painterly styles come with. Not all of them have it, but certain do. With this option, you can load up a brush alpha mask that can be used to process your image, and this allows you to give your image a more unique style and push in that NPR look even further. I've included a link to a free BRUSHPACK down below if you want to use it. Another option you might come across while messing with Fotosketcher is option for manual brushes. With this, you can actually go in and paint parts of the image you want the effect to be applied to But I don't like using this method because this is kind of rudimentary, and I prefer doing the same thing but bringing over the stylized image and the non-stylized images to Photoshop or any photo editing software of your choice. Another tip I have is blending between various styles. What I usually do is process the image into multiple styles and then go into Photoshop and then blend between them to really push that stylized NPR look. If you do end up making something with this method, be sure to tag me on Instagram. I would love to see what you guys come up with. And yeah, that's the video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Check out my socials and check out my Patreon. I have some cool stuff up there now. And God bless. Bye.